I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain the swamp.
Hello and welcome to another installment of Liberty Nation's Swamponomics videocast. I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor. This week, the US economy is broken. Uncle Sam had a great fall. All the president's horses and all the president's men couldn't put Uncle Sam together again. The United States economy is going through a bit of a rough patch that is poised to spiral out of control. Sure, the GDP growth rate indicates expansion, and the unemployment rate is still below 4%. But everything else, especially the stuff underneath the surface of the headline numbers, is creating a climate where the bulls sleep, the bears roar, and the doom and gloomers flex their pecs. For instance, just to use the second quarter gross domestic product as an example, the Bureau of Economic Analysis reported that personal consumption plunged to 0.8%, down from 3.8% in the first quarter. This is a concerning signal for an economic landscape that is driven by two-thirds consumption and when close to 30 million Americans need to start repaying their student loans. But wait, there's more. A recent study found that two-thirds of workers say their wage and salary gains are not keeping up with the cost of living. The University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index has been in retreat since hitting a two-year high this past summer. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York's survey of consumer expectations shows that about a third of households say their financial situations are worse off than they were a year ago and will be even worse off a year from now. And remember when I said that student loan repayments are about to begin soon? Well, studies show that many of these individuals do not earn enough to make payments, plan to save less, take on extra work, and admit they will face financial devastation. Ivory Tower economists, like Paul Krugman, contend that public perceptions do not emulate the economic data, suggesting that they are not smart enough to realize the wonders of Bidenomics. The White House has uttered a similar sentiment, insisting that it will take time for the public to understand just how much the president's economic doctrine has helped the American people. Fine. Let's take a look at some of the hard data to determine if the pecuniary plight the population is enduring is just a figment of their imagination. So first, the national median rent is just shy of the record high of around $2,050. The national average mortgage payment is around $2,100. The national credit card debt total is north of $1 trillion. The national savings rate is now lower than it was before the coronavirus pandemic. Wages have fallen 3% since 2021. Supermarket price is still rising at about 4%. These are hard numbers that are difficult to dismiss as merely the public's perception. Even at a government level, the meat and potatoes are rotting away. The national debt is over $33 trillion. The federal deficit is nearly $2 trillion. Revenues are sliding and outlays are growing. Interest payments are close to $1 trillion. And unfunded liabilities and expenditures are above $200 trillion. Plus, it should be integral to note, interest payments are now the second largest budgetary item behind Social Security for fiscal year 2023. The US government is poised to spend trillions in interest payments over the next decade, especially if the Federal Reserve keeps interest rates higher for longer. In the end, the US economy is broken. When prices for goods and services, particularly essential needs, are hitting all-time highs and wages are inadequate to cover the exponential increase, it is safe to say that things are breaking. Is this all President Biden's fault? Of course not. Former President Donald Trump added trillions to the national debt before the pandemic and during the public health crisis. Biden is adding trillions after the pandemic. But there is one institution that has facilitated this reckless behavior by Republicans and Democrats for years: the Federal Reserve. Remember, the true definition of inflation is the expansion of the money supply, resulting in higher prices that devalued dollars must pay. So, there is no solution to fixing the Titanic. The gigantic economic ship can only be kept afloat with duct tape, bubblegum, and praying to the heavens that it will not sink to the bottom of the ocean. And this is how the smartest men and women in Washington manage the economy. That's it from this week. Please read my full Swamponomics column on the pages of LibertyNation.com, and be sure to check out my previous interviews on Swamponomics TV. Thank you. I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain the swamp.
Don't get caught up in the media madness. Join our movement for free thinking and free speech at libertynation.com. Publishing news and analysis 24/7 with original articles by our team of authors who tell it like it is. Join us each week for online TV shows, The Uprising Podcast, and Liberty Nation Radio. We believe in free thinking and free speech. We are libertynation.com.